Terry Belanger is the founding director of Rare Book School, RBS, an institute concerned with education for the history of books and printing, and with rare books and special collections librarianship. He is University Professor Emeritus of the University of Virginia, UVA, where RBS has its home base. Between 1972 and 1992, he devised and ran a master's program for the training of rare book librarians and antiquarian booksellers at the Columbia University School of Library Service. He is a 2005 MacArthur Fellow. Education and early work. Born in 1941, Belanger attended public schools in Bristol, Connecticut. He has degrees from Haverford College, A.B. 1963, and from Columbia University, M.A. 1964, Ph.D. 1970, where he studied under James L. Clifford, Alan T. Hazen, and John H. Middendorf. Between 1966 and 1971, while working on his dissertation on aspects of the 18th-century London book trade, he taught advanced prose composition courses at the Columbia University School of General Studies, an activity leading to the 1972 publication of The Art of Persuasion, a writing manual co-authored with J. Stuart Lacus, while in England on a Columbia Travelling Fellowship in 1968-69. He revised the book production sections of the 18th-century volume of the New Cambridge Bibliography of English Literature, NCBEL, working with Graham Pollard, who had compiled the original sections for the first edition of CBEL, published in 1940. With Jane Marla Robbins, he co-authored and co-directed a one-character play starring Robbins called Dear Nobody, based on the life of the 18th-century diarist and novelist Fanny Burney. The play ran off-Broadway in 1968. It later had a 5 months off-Broadway run at the Cherry Lane Theatre in 1974. The Rare Book Program at Columbia. In 1972, Richard L. Darling, the Dean of Columbia's School of Library Service, SLS, invited Belanger to develop a master's program for the training of rare book and special collections librarians. A brief soon expanded to include the antiquarian book trade. The program's laboratory, the Book Arts Press, provided a space where students could set type and print the result on a hand press, make relief cuts, dry points, and etchings, and otherwise get their hands dirty in the interest of their bibliographical educations. The program, the first of its kind, put a heavy emphasis on books as physical objects, and it stimulated the development of rare book librarianship as a profession. Graduates of the Columbia Rare Book Program currently occupy many of the senior positions in the field. In 1983, Belanger founded Rare Book School, a collection of 5-day non-credit courses on subjects relating to the history of the book and rare book librarianship, expanding the educational opportunities he had developed within the Columbia Master's Program and making them available both to working professionals, teaching academics, rare book librarians, archivists, antiquarian booksellers, conservators and binders, and to those with an avocational interest in the subjects treated. In 1989, he began to compile an address book listing the names of the Friends of the Book Arts Press, RBS participants, and others with rare book connections or interests. The 10th, 352-page edition of the Book Arts Press address book was published in 2008. The move to UVA. Belanger moved both the Book Arts Press and RBS to the University of Virginia, UVA, in 1992, where he accepted an appointment as University Professor and Honorary Curator of Special Collections. At UVA, Belanger taught undergraduate courses on the history of the book in the history, English, and art departments and in the School of Engineering and Applied Science. In 1996, he established a program in which UVA undergraduates came up with the idea for a book exhibition, researched the subject, wrote captions, and mounted the result in the dome room of the Rotunda, the principal room of the university. Students had considerable independence in how they constructed their exhibitions, whose subjects ranged from armed services editions to Thomas Jefferson and Monticello ephemera. Belanger continued to organize and host a series of public lectures begun at Columbia on bookish subjects, including an annual lecture honoring Sol. M. and Mary Ann O'Brien Malkin. The 500th lecture in the series was given at UVA in 2007. Belanger retired in 2009. He was succeeded as director of RBS by Michael F. Suarez, S.J. He continues to teach courses in the identification of book illustration processes 1450 to 1900 at RBS. And he remains on the faculty of the Colorado Antiquarian Book Seminar, where he teaches descriptive bibliography and basic preservation techniques. In 2012, he worked with the New York City book collector Florence Farrington on an exhibition on the history of the Cabinet of Curiosities opening at the Grolier Club in December, entitled Rooms of Wonder, From Wunderkammer to Museum, 1599 to 1899. Writing much of the label copy and the accompanying exhibition catalogue. The exhibition received extensive press coverage, including a review in the Wall Street Journal and a full-page review by Roberta Smith in the New York Times, who noted that it is rare to see such a dense and illuminating treatment of the cabinet's proliferation, popularity and evolution, and fascinating that it can be done so well through a display limited to their bibliographic byproducts. Quote, lectures. Belanger was Rosenbach Lecturer at the University of Pennsylvania, 1986, and he has given the Graham Pollard Lecture of the Bibliographical Society of London, 1988. The Haynes Lecture at the University of North Carolina, 1991. The Malkin Lecture at Columbia University, 1991. The Brownell Lecture at the University of Iowa, 1994. The Adler Lecture at Skidmore College, 1996. The Mayo Lecture at Texas A&M University, 2003. The inaugural lecture in the Fondren Library Distinguished Lecture Series at Rice University, 2004. The Swartzberg Lecture at Wells College, 2007. The McCusker Lecture at Dominican University, 2008. The inaugural Don Friedman Lecture in Book History at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, 2010. And about 200 other formal presentations on bibliographical and bibliophilic subjects over the past 40 years. In 2009, he gave the annual addresses of the Bibliographical Society of America in January, and of the Bibliographical Society of the University of Virginia in March. Awards. 1994 American Printing History Association Individual Award. 2005 MacArthur Fellow. Works. J. Stuart Lacus and Terry Belanger. The Art of Persuasion. How to Write Effectively About Almost Anything. New York. Charles Scribner's Sons. 1972. Descriptive Bibliography. Book Collecting. A Modern Guide. Jean Peters. ed. New York and London. R. Boker. 1977. 97 to 101. Richard L. Darling and Terry Belanger. Extended Library Education Programs. Proceedings of a conference held at the School of Library Service, Columbia University. 13 to 14 March 1980. New York, Columbia University School of Library Service. 1980. The Ayler Glossary of Library and Information Science. Editors Hartzell Young, Terry Belanger. Editions Diaz de Santos. 1983. ISBN 978-08389-0371-1. Terry Belanger, ed. Proceedings of the Fine Printing Conference at Columbia University held May 19–22. 1982. New York, Columbia University School of Library Service. 1983. Lunacy and the Arrangement of Books. Newcastle, Del. Oaknoll Books. 1983. 3rd PTG 2003. ISBN 978-1-58456-099-9. Editor, compiler of the Bookarts Press Address Book. Published by the Bookarts Press at Columbia University. 1989–91. And of the University of Virginia. 1993–2008. Editor, compiler of the Rare Book School Yearbook. 1989–99. The Anatomy of a Book. Format in the handpress period. 30-minute videotape. Author and co-producer. With Peter Herdrick. New York, Viking Productions, Inc. 1991. Reformatted and released by RBS as a DVD. 2003. Dancing by the Book. A catalogue of books 1531–1804 in the collection of Marianne O'Brien Malkin. With Marianne O'Brien Malkin, Moira Goff, Richard Noble, and Jennifer Thorpe. New York City. Privately printed. 2003. Leiden, Jackie. August 10, 2003. Preserving Pages in Charlottesville. A Visit to the Rare Book School at the University of Virginia. National Public Radio. LJ talks to Terry Belanger. Library Journal. October 11, 2005. Marcus. Barbara Hock. February 2006. They gave me $500,000 to preserve rare books. Kiplinger's Personal Finance.